Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. This lovely, fairly long yoga practice, about 45 minutes, so give yourself some time to just focus on yourself. Notice how you've come into the practice today, how you feel just sitting on your mat, how it felt to actually put your mind to doing some yoga today as well. And just close your eyes for a few moments and just take a few lovely slow deep breaths in through your nose and out through your nose. And just taking your time to just make sure you're breathing through your nostrils, slowing that breath down, deepening that breath is a really great start to the practice. Now if your eyes are shut, just visualise that lovely cup of air, as much as you can through the nostrils. Feel it expand the chest and the belly area, and as you exhale, feel it leave your body. You may feel that movement in the rib cage at the back, as well as the side and at the front. And if you're not, focus on slowing that breath down, making sure that you've got this lovely time to breathe. And maybe in 3 or 4 breaths, you've changed your whole way of working through the next part of the sequence. So I thought today we'd just work a little bit on the front line and the back line. There's a lovely invisible fascia line that follows through the tension areas. So if you're particularly stressed, we sometimes feel it in that back line of the body because we're in a posture that maybe, the body's tissues can't cope with for too long. And then obviously the front of the body will suffer. So we're going to work on both lines individually, sometimes together. So you get a chance to really just focus on yourself and how you want to make yourself feel, hopefully better by the end of the session. So to start with, change the cross on your legs and just wiggle around, find your base support. Notice where your pelvis is in space. You might have to tilt your pelvis back and forwards, or at least try and move it a little bit. Notice where your shoulders are, take them forward, take them up, take them back, definitely take them down. And as you're doing that, you're actually starting to work this front line of the body. So I'm working on the chest area. I'm working on how it feels to lengthen the front line right near the belly to the pubic bone. And then at the moment it's stopped at the hips, I can't go any further. At the same time, while I'm doing my shoulder rolls, I'm going to think about that retraction, the back line of the body, get that tension there, that depression in the shoulders. And notice whether I need a little bit more work in that area. And then I'm going to take a hand to the earth and also focus on the side lines of the body. Now the lovely muscles further down the spine, the QL muscles, will allow our body to extend. So we make sure that there's no restrictions there with a little side bend. And that could be done with a lovely weighted side bend, because that makes you feel a little bit like you're slowing down the breath. So as you breathe in, you take that air with you. As you exhale, you let it go. Imagine that it's quite stiff, that air, you've really got to push through it as well, so it makes you focus on that alignment down the side of the body, that tension, that release. And then I'm going to take one hand behind, support me, hand on my thigh with the other one. Think of my spiral line, the waist, the chest. And then this lovely retraction in the shoulders, so I've got that back line working a little bit with retraction. The head and the neck is part of the back line as well, so tuck the chin. Think of the fascia starting in the back of the neck as well here, over the top of the head, down the back of the neck. So you're looking down at the floor. As you exhale, you might go a bit further. That feels lovely. Then bring yourself back to neutral. Lengthen first. Get the front line lengthened before you rotate. Rotate the shoulder blades a bit, up, back and down. Engage the back line a little bit. Look behind you. And let that breath out. No rush. And just repeat that again with a different cross leg, just in case you're in a place that you always sit. So we might do a few more side bends just to let go of all that tension. And without realising, little by little, You're just sending it away from you. So find that base support, push into your sit bones as you do your side bend. Lose yourself in a movement for a few moments, because very rarely do we take side bends and twists through the day anymore now. And then one hand behind, lovely support. Extend first before you rotate second and look behind you. Work on your neck, your jaw, your mouth. And then we'll do the same thing. Lift up, rotate, enjoy that motion in the back. And it's just time, give yourself time. Lovely. So I'm going to move on to my knees. Stay away from my bum for a moment. Come on to my 4 points. So looks a bit like we're doing the cat here. So I'm going to do a very slow cat. It's a nice controlled articular rotation for the spine. So we're thinking of the back line first, and I'm thinking about my toes and that length that I want to create in the back of the body. So I'm going to think about maybe making the spine move very, very slowly through its cat and cow range of motion. So I'm going to start in what I think is my cow. So I've got a nice lower back curve here, my belly's relaxed into the earth. Got nice stiff elbows. So I'm going to focus on this area first, the sacrum, and think about tilting that tailbone under, so the back line moving, and it gets to the pelvis, the waist, and I'm starting to work on the shoulder area and then the neck. And it's done really slowly, so my brain gets a nice message of that movement pattern. And stay here for a moment and breathe for a few seconds. And then I go back the way I came. Think still about your back line, so go from your tailbone. Move the tailbone so that it's starting to go up in the air, them sit bones. Get your lower back working, get your mid back, get your upper back. And then when you get to here, visualise your armpits and draw them into your hip pockets. So really work your lateral muscles in your back. And then I'm going to go again. This time I'm going to think about the front line of the body. So I'm going to think about my tailbone still, pulling my tailbone to my face, bracing my abdominals a bit more. You might be thinking about the rib cage coming towards the hips now, and then the head and the neck. Just nice and soft here. Just let yourself breathe a couple of moments. Here I go again with the front line. I'm still going from the pelvis, I think. So move from the pelvis, the bottom of the pelvis near the hip bones. Then think about the belly button, drop into the earth. And then think about the chest. And then think about them shoulders again. So imagine you pulling your shoulders or your armpits into your hip pockets for a moment. Okay, and then just rest back, unless that's really nasty, on your shins here into hero pose for a second, and just take the weight off your wrists. Yeah, that's just giving me a moment just to analyse my movement patterns in my cat and my cow, just to get some sort of action going as well. So I'm going to work my way onto my standing position. So I might decide to come up through my rolled up toe into my down facing dog here, and just explore the back line for a moment as I walk on the spot. Now if that's you're not feeling the down facing dog today, remember you can also come up with one leg. I'm just using my right leg at the moment. I'm rolling the back toe under, and I might want to come up that way. Yeah. If you're still in the down facing dog, stay there a little bit longer. Eventually you'll want to walk your feet to your hands, and then we're all up together, standing here. Lovely. So welcome to your feet. Different perspective up here. Everything changes a little bit. Yeah. So start where you think you can move most, and yet usually it comes from here. So I want you just to put your hand on your lumbar spine and just feel where your pelvis has been for about, the last few hours. Has it been tilted under? Has it been gently stuck out? Can you find the middle of both them extremes? So just do some movement patterns there for the pelvis. And then maybe go down, if you wish, into the feet. See if you can work your weight back into your heels a little bit. And then work your way over your balls of your feet, so you feel a little bit like you're drunk here, swaying forward and back. Now if I stiffen my knees a little bit and lift my toes, as well as it working my nervous system, my toes go all the way up towards my ears and my neck. I'm also working my way into the back line, so I'm changing my alignment a little bit. So pelvis is more over the heels, and maybe then I can put my big toes down, 4 little toes follow, and find that lovely equilibrium between the whole foot now, yeah, including the toes. And I've got my shoulders to practice again, so forward flexion, you see how that's really tight, and then I'm coming up into this lovely elevation. I'm going to go back into retraction, and then I'm going to look forward to that lovely depression. Nice one, yeah. So thinking about stretching the back line a little bit up towards your ears, and then as I take it back, maybe tensing the back line a little bit, dropping it down. Lovely. Okay, once more, breath in. Feeling what I'm doing with every other part of my body while I'm doing these slow, lovely massaging rotations around the shoulders. Okay, and then notice if you can where your hands lie. Do they look like they're internal again? So I've got a little bit of restriction on my front line here. Or can I depress and retract and just get the thumbs turning out for a moment? Should be nice, yeah? Okay, let's do a breath in. Let's take the arms and big circle around us. So you're in slow motion again, like that cat and cow. And you're going to try and get external rotation all the way up to the sky. Deep breath in. Now you should be feeling this lovely stretch in the front line, particularly around the pec muscles, the chest muscles. Now as I come down, just do a little bit of rotation down so you feel the palms change direction, and you bring yourself to a nice close. Let's do that again. Breath in, palms up, rotate with them pec muscles. And as we exhale, we're coming down. Now I'm going to think about where I'm going to move from. So get halfway house, the hips go back. And I'm just going to go over the top here. So I'm thinking my front line's going to rest on my thighs for a second. And I'm just going to go all floppy for a second. And then I might eventually come up. Breathing in. Okay, let's just make it so that we actually step back. So I've just turned, don't you turn? I just want you to see my movement patterns going backwards. So I'm going to step back with my left leg. So that means my toe is going to go and find some floor for a second. Now we call this the crescent moon. So I'm going to try my best either to drop down onto my knees if I feel unstable and stay in a nice kneeling position so that my front line, my hip flexor, gets a little bit of attention. Now that's obviously up to you. Or I take it and roll the toe under and I climb up that thigh into my crescent moon, yeah? Now I've got myself in that lovely loaded into my hip position here, so try and make your heel go down a little bit. Try and get yourself in a comfortable position with the hip flexors. And then either take your hands behind your head here, and watch you, I can see you. Or you could take your arms behind your back, which is going to think about that front line, the chest muscles, the hip flexors. And you just stay here for a moment, trying to enjoy it. Try not to let your rib cage come forwards. See how unbalanced you are, whether you're feeling that sway from left to right. Feel it in the hip at the front, so try and load that heel a bit down to the earth. And then I can take it down, it's a bit like a weird, humble position, so that I've got my arms going up. And then let my hands find the floor. And from that position here, I'm going to either step my knee down, bring both knees together and change legs. Yeah, so changing into the kneeling position again, if I liked it last time. Yeah, it's quite good just to practice the kneeling position, just to prepare that hip flexor. Or I roll the back toe under and I climb up that thigh. So I'm back where I started, but a different leg. Yeah, so stay where you are. Choose what you want to do with your arms to really accentuate this area around your chest. So it could be hands behind your back, or it could be hands really behind your back, linking them, getting that retraction. Stretch on the chest muscles being aware of what you're doing at the front line a little bit, arms behind, go further up, looking good. Work on pushing that heel down a little bit, lengthening the hip flexor. And then I'm going to go chest to thighs, just a little bit, unstable. Woo-hoo. And then hands back down to the floor for a moment, and this time I'm going to step forward, deep breath in, and come up. Lovely. One done, yeah? Now I've just got to think about the back line. So this time when the arms go in the air, I'm going to imagine I've got my, almost like, I've got my, what you hang your clothes up with, my brain's gone by me, coat hangers in my arms. And this is going to pull on these lateral line a little bit, and the lats in the body. So just visualise you've actually got something to pull down. And the shoulder blades should be dropping down your back a little bit. So as I breathe in, that's not as important this time as this lovely letting it go, this pulling down feeling. See, this feels nice, yeah? So trying to get my head over my hips for a few more moments, give my blood pressure a chance to get back, coming back to normal. And I should do that back muscle some good here, the back muscles. Okay, let's go over the top this time. So I'm going to breathe in. I just turn, don't have to turn. Just want you to see what I'm doing with my angles. So I'm thinking about the back line. So I might even stiffen the knees a little bit, or I might just push the hips backwards and dive down to the floor so I can feel some tension in the back line. I get to the floor and I need to focus on my toes. So if you can stand on your own fingers, that sounds weird, yeah? You can actually pull your toes up off the floor with your fingers, or just make sure that you can actually lift your toes. Now at the same time, not looking at the screen, nod your head, relax your neck, okay? And then we've got that lovely crescent moon to do again. So left leg back. This time I want you to come up, so I want you to try and bring your weight over your thigh again, so you're back in this crescent moon. So I've got the equal pressure between the front leg and the back leg, and particularly if I can get the heel down a little bit, I'll feel that front line again, but I'm trying to stabilise with these glute muscles at the back, yeah, and the shoulders and the back muscles. So reach up, feel strong. Now I haven't done the warrior 3 for a while, so we're going to have a go with it, see if you can fall over with me too. I want to be able to put my body weight, or as much as I can, over my front thigh. So lean your body over. See if you can tip over and start to work the back muscles, the back line. Keep flying, keep extending. If you've got strong back muscles, you could maybe reach with the arms forward. Be careful though, or just keep it balanced. And you could step back in place if you wanted. Finish off the move, you could put the foot flat. Da-da! It's always nice to finish with that one. And I'm going to try straight away the other leg because it's crying out for some work. So I'm going over the top, bum sticks out. I'm going to get myself in that lovely loaded position here. I'm going to tickle my feet. I'm going to try and let my toes come up. I'm going to relax my neck. And I've got my belly near my thighs. So when I let go of the floor, I can step back with that right leg this time. Climb up that left thigh. So I want to sit my pelvis in the middle here. I want my body weight over the pelvis. Use your back toe. Drop down into it. Quads, glute muscles, yeah? See if you can load your back a bit more. Reach your arms over your head. Couple of breaths, in through your nose, out through your nose. And then your body weight comes forwards, your chest goes over your thighs, and you try and go into your warrior 3. So I'm glad I've got a wall. Feel the difference on this side. If it's easy, you extend. If not, keep the arms out to balance. And then you know when you're ready, your back says, I can't do it anymore. Toe down, finish, gymnast style, 10. Okay, and then step forward. You did it. Well, you did that one at least, yeah. So, get the breath back to normal. Let's have a few balances, yeah. So, try and think of the front line. So we need to get the shoulder and the hip work a little bit. We need to, lengthen that front line a bit. So the dancer pose or the standing bow is a good idea for that area. Now if you can't flick your leg back and grab it, there's always a trick. You can hold on to the wall, take the leg in front, so you go into flexion, and then see if you can bring that leg around the back and just massage the fingers further down towards the actual top of the foot. And just that is quite tough for the shoulder, so don't force this move. Notice where the knees are. Is it forwards or back beyond, you know, the pelvis, so we get to the side? Are you here, or can you get it streamlined? Yeah, that'll affect the shoulder as well. So from the side view, I could just stretch the thigh, get that lovely joint working in the knee, maybe keeping that chest and shoulder square, or I push the foot into my hand, and then when I'm ready, if I can manage it, that leg keeps coming up and the arm keeps going away. So I'm in my definite standing bow there for a few moments. And I do that for as long as I'm enjoying it. Or a little bit longer if I want to, yeah. When you stop enjoying it. And just have a rest, yeah. So one down, one leg to go. So let's see how it feels on this leg. Can you get your leg into your hand? If not, remember the other trick. Front, and then rotate it to the back, yeah. Hold on to the top of the foot. Try and get streamlined with the knees. Pushing it forwards, yeah, pushing it back. Once I've got that foot into my hand and I've pushed it back, that's when I come forwards, yeah. 2 different moves there. Couple of breaths in through your nose, out through your nose. Super duper. Easier, harder on this side. Are you going further, are you going less? Okay, a nice workout for your hands as well, yeah? So back line, a little bit of stretch in this length while you're standing up. You never know, you might become one of these standing poses people when you're doing your washing up or anything in the house as well, rather than just standing with both feet underneath. Practice balancing as often as you can. Practice external rotation, hip flexors. But because we're targeting that back line a little bit, think of where you move from. So my hips go back, my sacrum moves back. Feel the difference now, yeah? I could be open, yeah? Could be focusing on the back muscles, kissing the shoulder blades together, pushing them hips further back. Lovely, nice one. No pain, yeah? Just a little bit intensity, yeah? Okay, 2 feet back on the floor, doesn't that feel lovely? Let's change legs. Different leg on thigh. Different abilities on this side, or is it about the same? How do you move? Sacrum first. Tuck that chin. Yeah. Feet, head. And then maybe focus on the back muscles. Retraction. Ooh, I'm off. Keep bending that knee a little bit more. Whoa. Anybody else managed to stay there longer than me? Lovely. Okay, I'm going to come down. Breathe again, yeah? So sort of a combination of both of them, but you probably won't feel like it's happening until you get into it and think, oh yes, I can feel both lines. So I'm going to think about that seated position, because that's going to get me back line. So it's going to teach me good hamstring work as well, get my calves working. Arms up, going to get my back muscles working. But I'm also going to work my core, because I'm leaning slightly forwards here, yeah? So lovely front line tension, lovely back line tension. Hands come into neutral, sit back in your chair. I might just do as far as that. If I can keep going up, wunderbar. Keep looking down at the feet if you wish. Keep looking forwards, try not to look too far up. Stay as long as you want, or go up, go down, into the movement. Bit deeper each time, bit higher each time. It'll become your go-to move, I can assure you. You can sat down too long. Get easy chairing, get awkward chairing going. Okay, wide legs, my lovelies, feet wider. If you can see my feet, I'm attempting to get that as my straight line. Don't look at your toes, look at the actual outside of the foot. Don't let your toes mislead you. Get your pelvis in neutral. so that I'm not in my forward, I'm not in my back line too much. I'm somewhere in between. Superhero pose for a moment, hold it. Find them feet again. Find your neutral pelvis. Find that rotation up, back and down, that lovely feeling of depression in your shoulders and that beautiful neck alignment for a moment. Take a lovely deep breath in through your nose. Imagine that coolness coming in, that warmth as you go out. Feel the energy in the rib cage at the front, the side and the back, everything expanding and contracting. 3 lovely deep breaths before we move to the other leg and feel refreshed and focused. So left leg, turn it out, front line, glute squeeze, we've got the stiff knee triangle coming up and a different direction, so I'm going to just tentatively check out my spine feels good. I'm going to visualise myself between 2 plates of glass, and I'm going to try a little bit of obviously heaviness around the back here, so I'll bring the arms out wide, open the chest. As I go down, nice stability in the feet, in the hips, only go as far as you can, reach up high. Stay there a bit longer than you want to do, yeah? See if you can open the chest muscles a bit more. Don't like it, you take your arms behind your back, you come up a little bit higher. Do not suffer in the triangle. It's supposed to be pleasurable. It's supposed to really balance the front and the back lines, and it should feel pain-free always as you come out of it. Soften your knee a little bit. Let's take it the other way into the sunshine. So open the side of the body on this side now. Yeah, feels nice. Breathing in, expand. Breathing out, press through that lovely leg. Make sure you're not turning that knee inwards. Got a good awareness of what's going on in the hip, in the shoulder. And then we'll mix it up. So we've got back into triangle. Twice. 3 times. How does it feel the second time? And time to come out again. Explore this side of the body. And one more time, let's go for it. Exhale. Down into the earth, up into the sky there with the arm. And last one. Change the roll. One goes up, one goes down. Oh, feels nice, yeah? Okay, how does it feel about wanting to fall forward? I think we should do the back line first, yeah? So toes pointed forwards, hands on your hips maybe for safety, or you could use that to tell your hips to push backwards. So that chin tucks, the hips go back, I lift the toes and I get the weight down the back line for a moment. It's a bit like I'm just trying to roll a ball down from the hips to the shoulders to the head. Now I need to think of the pelvis as tilted, as moving upwards, so the hamstrings lengthen and I get the back line in the back of the legs tense. If not, I'm just bending over from the shoulders. So try and tilt the pelvis a little bit. If you can't, bend your knees a little bit. See if you can move a bit like a seesaw here, yeah? Hips back, so I can feel the hamstrings and I can feel the pelvis move around a bit. And then I've got my arms ready for me on my thighs, or I could use that to push up and extend, yeah? Okay, front line. Turn out, a little bit of plie in. Do that at your own hip rotation cost here. So the hip openers. Try not to make the knees hurt. If the knees hurt, don't do it. Just do the upper body instead. So we've still got to visualise a wall behind us, and we may be going, exhale here, open, like a flower, yeah? And as I come out of it, push through the heels, squeeze the glute muscles, and open the heart centre, front line here, hips. See, I'm not going too low. If you want to go lower, go for it. Just want to feel the rotation in the hips. Nice open position, pain-free. And you stay as long as you want. You could hold on to the thighs, you could be working on the shoulders, you could be working on the hips. And maybe deeper next time, yeah? Yeah, bring your feet, something natural. Bring your legs back to something that you can release into. And I think we've deserved a tiny bit of relaxation on the floor, haven't we? So we're going to go into prone position on the front. So I want you to practice your back line lengthening.
So I've got to make a double chin, and I want to try and fold myself into a nice little ball. So I get a view of my feet, belly nice and tight. And I'm going to go down the outside of my legs. Vertebra by vertebra. Letting myself curl down. I've got my belly on my thighs. Nice security here. I'm going to walk 1, 2, 3. And then before I get down, I might be hovering my knees off the earth. I might be thinking, oh, I think I'm into a down facing dog now, maybe. Or I might be going back into a sort of a planky position, so my front line's getting some tension, and then my back line's getting some tension here. I might be putting my heels down, but I'm not there yet. I might be moving my pelvis a bit, bending my knees. I might be practicing my pretend plank. Yeah, full plank, I need to walk my feet further back. So I'm coming down into the plank where I'm a little bit more planky shaped here. Yeah. I can always put my knees down whenever I need to. I could go from my back line to my front line if I wanted a little bit. And even more into my front line here where I go into my up facing dog. Anything too extreme, bring it down to the knees, make it shorter, make the levers shorter. So here, not quite as intense, yeah. So I've got the movement still. Back line, front line. And I might be looking down at the feet, forehead down. I might be pushing the pelvis forwards. Yeah, it's a little bit of work both ways, which feels really nice. Okay, and if not, I'm doing the bigger one on the toe ends. Into the down facing dog, be careful. Try and come in between with the plank before you lower the hips down, so you get a little bit of range in both. Yeah, so do as many of them as you wish. If you prefer to stretch out here, stay here. If you're more of a, I'm going to lay on my front person like me, come follow me, yeah. Okay, so when I come down from all that motion, I'm going to just relax, pubic bone, hip bone, forehead on the ground. Couple of breaths in, couple of breaths out. Expand, contract. Rise and fall with the breath. Work on that neck, lengthen it, tuck the chin. And just stay there for a moment, yeah? If you feel like moving, you know, you can also put your hands underneath the shoulders. I'm thinking about the back line when I'm laid down here, particularly because it's great for the gravity. So if I've got the shoulders retracting, they're having to work really hard with the gravity wanting them to collapse a little bit. I could go into my baby cobra, strengthen the back line. I'm also obviously lengthening the front line as well, giving myself that chest stretch, the pec muscle stretch there across the chest. But keep the retraction as your main goal. Keep your hip bones nice and stable. Maybe turn your head. So you could turn your head when you come down. Keep the head in neutral. So I'm turning my head to look at the camera, then I'm turning my head away. Turning my head down, turning my head towards the camera. Yeah. So get a chance to do some lovely back work there, if you need it more. Most of us do, yeah. Rather than just too much tummy work. If you want to just work on that stomach a little bit, you could lift the hips and go back into your mega mini plank here, not so bad, yeah. And then go back into your Sphinx pose. Nice one to do. Remember what we did earlier, armpits into your hips. Try and draw them away, get your lateral muscles firing. Feel some muscles working in your back as you do this movement. It feels like it's for your front. It's really great for the back, yeah. Okay, and lowering it down. And then I'm just going to let my legs just do a little bit of lift. So like I'm swimming, I like to take the arms, extend them so that I get a little bit of full experience of the whole line. So it's not just the spine and the legs coming from the arms as well. And I'm pressing into the earth, encouraging that power and also that strength at the same time, upwards, down and up. Exhale, maybe feel longer, relax. Exhale, or you may be doing that inhale and hold it here and breathe. And then bringing it down so that you're testing that strength on that side as well. Comparing it, yeah, whatever you want it to be here, yeah. And then once you've made yourself an inch or two longer, check out the thigh. We did this standing up. How easy is it here, laying down, yeah? Still got that same issue here. Have you still got that same issue in the knee joint, in the hip joint? And pushing the foot into the hand, pushing the hip bones down. Bow on the belly, yeah. Front line engages the pelvic floor muscles naturally as well, also bonus. Heels to the bum. Pushing that hip bone down, pushing that foot into your hand. Da, da, da. Yeah, nice lift. And then the hands come underneath the shoulders. I'm going to take myself up one more time. And my hips always leading the way, so they're in charge. They go back. I roll the toes under, get that back line again. Forehead down. Chill, yeah? Down here just for a few moments. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep that tailbone lifted. Keep reaching with your arms. Keep energy all the way to your fingertips. Couple of breaths in, a couple of breaths out. Lovely. Okay. And just a moment just to sit before we be a little relaxation if you want to join me. It's a really nice, easy, quick relaxation. But before you do that, just return back to your equilibrium a little bit, whether you're upright, you can feel the floor against you. How's it feel now to extend the legs? Yeah. And if this isn't there yet, just notice the collapsion. And then as you bend your knees, notice the activation of the pelvis, the spine, everything at work again, yeah? It always feels easier to do this collapsed bit, but actually it's very, very difficult on the body. It's getting very stressed out, is the spine. So do things to your body like you love it, yeah? Get the extension in the sternum. Drop the palms down, get that lovely stretch across the chest, nod the head a little bit. Maybe practice everything we did standing up, but sitting down is nice. So slow motion Titanic move, thumbs on the outside, stretch the chest muscles, yeah. Relax, relax, relax as it goes up. Beautiful V shape. And then as I come down, we're thinking about pulling this back. Down, 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 down. Feeling the back muscles working. Pulling the armpits down to my hip pockets. And we'll do it again. So thumbs rotate out. Last time, slow motion, breathe in. You might have to breathe out as well. And then as they exhale. Feels nice, yeah? Let it come down slowly. Okay, I've got my knees bent. I'm going to hinge over at the hips, belly on my thighs. Create that feeling of pull. My toes are nice and floppy. Belly to the thighs. Just for a moment, soft, 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 yeah? Now if you can, you're imagining yourself eventually being able to straighten the legs and keep in that position. But if it just makes you feel like you've gone back into that slump, you know, I would bend my knees so I can keep that tailbone stuck out. Now it might be lovely to sort of lay back on your back straight away, yeah, because it'll just melt into the relaxation then. So lower yourself down onto your mat, yeah, and start with the back, the spine, and just notice if you can move it again, the pelvic tilt. I like to lift the arms over the head a bit and just increase the curve. And then as the arms come back, you should have a natural flattening into the floor. And I could mix this up with the bridge in a moment. So you're actually going to think about what we did in slow motion. Yeah, so you're peeling your back on and off the floor. So I'm going to think about the lumbar spine first, where the tailbone is. And you're going to lift your hips into the air. Then it's your mid, and then it's your upper back. As you go over, you might be feeling it's in the shoulders and the neck. Don't forget that very top part of the spine. And then come down through the upper, mid, lower back into the floor. Last thing to go down is that tailbone. Now this time focus on the front line, because that's just as important. How the feet are working, how the quads are working, how the hips are working, all the way up to the top. So push through the feet, feel your hips start to rise, feel your belly start to lengthen a little bit. Feel that opening in the shoulders, beautiful. And then as you're lowering it down, everything in reverse. What's happening at the shoulders? What's happening at the belly button? What's happening at the hips? What's happening at the thighs? What's happening at the feet? Okay, hands on your knees, tippy toes touch. Big circle out like a frog. Big circle in. So once I've got that lovely roll, and that feels lovely and delightful, it's going into the back line. So I'm going to look at my feet. I'm going to relax. Brace the abs, front line tension, feet go down. Let's go again. Push into that back line, lengthen the back of the knees, calves, toes, and lower it down. What about going a bit lower, this part, yeah? So think about what's going on in the shoulders, the arms as well. At the front of the body, at the back of the body, what's more stressed? Yeah? And one more time. And I exhale. Big stretch. Up, 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 up. Open arms, open everything. Lovely. Okay, and I always finish, if I can, with a spinal twist, very cautiously, and then you might get a little bit more comfortable. So just do a few spinal rolls from one side to another, and then I'll talk you through a lovely relaxation. So we've got feet touching. Now think about that back line one more time. So as you're rolling from side to side, the parts that are touching the earth, notice how they're moving away from each other. You've got the shoulders on the earth at the back, then you've got the hip at the side, and then you're sort of meeting in the middle just for a few moments where everything's getting a little bit of pressure, and then obviously the pressure's released. Do the same with the front line as well, how that feels as you're stretching across, where you're feeling it a bit tight, a bit chewy, a bit luxurious. Yeah, should be lovely for the spine, that one. Okay, and then the soles of the feet together. Constant, circle, feet to feet. You might put your hands on your belly for a moment, feel that rise and fall. You're returning back to where you started. This time you lay down, it's a lot more comforting for the spine when you laid on your back. So in breath expansion, out breath relax. Inwardly. Oh, power, energy. Release tension, whatever feels good for you. And all that time you've been laid there, how's the hips feel now? How's that front line doing? Yeah. Arms over your head, how's the front line? Yeah. Is it still a bit tight? It's always a big problem, when we sit for a living. You're going to make this quite weak and tight. So lengthen it, strengthen it. Same at the back. I'm going to make it quite long and weak as well. Or very tight sometimes, depending on what your posture is. Okay, we're bringing the knees together, unless you like relaxing like that. Straighten the legs out. Lay here. I'm going to sit up and talk to you. It just feels more natural. But, close your eyes. Be in the position that you were in a few seconds ago, but less fidgety. And we shall have a nice relaxation. So once you find yourself in a lovely, comfortable, relaxed position, close your eyes. See if you can just imagine you're no longer in your room. You're actually somewhere maybe outside with the lovely blue sky. You might be near the sea, might be near this lovely swimming pool, something, refreshing and summerfied, so that you can actually be somewhere other than the actual room. So if you can,
imagine how that lovely warmth of the sun feels on your face, on your chest, on your belly, on your hips, on your legs, and all that front line that we talked about is getting a nice release with the sunshine. Now the same applies to the back of the body, what you laid on. Every time you bring the air in, just notice each part of the body, just finding that little bit more release into the earth. You might have to shuffle a little bit. So you're going to continue with this visualisation of this lovely summer day. The sun is shining, this lovely blue sky and blue body of water. Now it gets warmer and you just feel like cooling off a little bit. So you may just dip in your toes to this cool water edge. You may feel like you want to walk into it. How daredevil are you? So I'm going to start with just the tips of my toes, feeling that almost contrast from the sunshine to that coolness. Almost makes you take a sharp breath in. And then your body starts to enjoy it, starts to feel it can relax a little bit. It's a pleasant experience, that lovely cool water on your skin. And you start to go a little bit deeper into the water. Maybe the ankles, more refreshing. And an instant cool down with that sun that's been on your face, on your body for the last few minutes. Now you might decide just to walk a bit deeper. You may just stay at the edge and just tap your toes in the water. You might even have that sensation, movement in the feet, where the surface underneath you is not quite stable anymore. It feels good. Your balance is, moving around a bit like you're on a lilo. Just feel that you're losing yourself a little bit in this lovely situation that you found yourself in. Everything around you is beautiful and clear. You take a breath in and you can smell that lovely cool, fresh water. That lovely fresh day, that lovely sunshine. What does the sun smell like? Now for the daredevils amongst us, we may be just going a bit deeper into the water. And you may feel you want to just lay back and feel the whole back getting supported, the back line. You may just be laying back on, your surface and feeling the support. Or you may decide to have a lovely stretch out and swim, move your arms into that body of water. And how does it feel on the front line of the body to have the support of the water there? So just either move around or lay and just enjoy this experience for a few more moments. It's another way of thinking about getting deeper into your relaxation as your visualization becomes more realistic, more full of different sensations. And as always, you can come out of it whenever you need to. You could be retreating back up from the water. You could be staying there if you wanted. But the opposite happens as you come out of the coolness into the warmth and you get a different sensation that again might be even better than the first. And eventually get yourself back to the place you started. See if you can give yourself a few more breaths before you come out of this lovely place. Feeling energy in the back of the body, all the way up the front, down the front line into the toes. Feel yourself breathing in, rise, and as you exhale, that falling feeling, that contraction. feel you need to move again, start to move your fingers, maybe flutter your toes, maybe run the tongue around your lips. Take a sniff of that cool air. Notice where you are without opening your eyes, how the back feels, how the front of the body feels. Make the movements bigger, bend your knees, come into a nice hug, hug yourself, you deserve a hug. And then maybe, when you're ready, roll to the side, either side, whichever feels good. It's always lovely to come up sideways into a nice seated position to finish. No rush, you could still be laid on your back listening to me. It's your yoga. Yeah. So finish off with that lovely thoughts of, contrast. We've had sunshine, we've had the coolness. We've had the front and the back lines, but we're just trying to create a little bit of balance in the body, a little bit of awareness that we need to sometimes step out of all this, what's going on, stress, and do something good for ourselves, our mind and our bodies together. Yoga always definitely fits that bill. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll join me again. Look forward to seeing you again, and a big thank you for everybody for working with me today.